Hello and welcome to Instablog's Global Reports. This is Sukmani, fresh updates and more citizen voices from all over the world. Stories of the day are: Sri Lankan stock soar as country's longest running civil war comes to an end. Thousands left homeless in northern Brazil due to heavy flooding. Bomb blast kills 10 in Peshawar city of Pakistan. Israel urges Syria to start direct peace talks. And President Barack Obama decides to skip Kenya during his maiden visit to the African continent. Sri Lankan stocks rose, lifting the benchmark index to a 7-month high after the nation's military declared victory in a 26-year civil war against the liberation tigers of Tamil Eelam that ended with the death of Vellupillai Prabhakaran. An exhilarated CJ Vignesh now expects Sri Lanka to become the Singapore of this part of the world.
This is Vignesh, citizen journalist from Sri Lanka, reporting on Instablogs. The news regarding the death of Vellupillai Prabhakaran has led to the onset of celebrations and Thanksgiving, marking the end of a 26-year-old conflict in the country which took thousands of lives. The end to Asia's longest-running civil war lifted the country's benchmark index to a 7-month high. The conflict had prevented the country from becoming Singapore of this part of the world. Now with the end to the strife, not only the economy shall uplift, but there will also be a positive shift in how the country is perceived among the comity of nations.
As the floodwaters recede in most parts of northeastern Brazil, causing huge damage in terms of life and property, many within the country are surprised at the new wave of floods which inundated the semi-arid, drought-prone regions of the country. CJ Celso has more on the story.
This is Celso, reporting from Brazil for Instablogs. Once again, hundreds of thousands of Brazilians are hit by floods. Last year, 1.5 million people in the southern region were affected due to the heavy rain. This time, the floods are occurring in the north and northeast of Brazil, and the number of people affected is almost reaching 1 million, and the damage has already reached $1 billion. The difference, however, is that this time the floods are being caused by the simultaneous occurrence of two climatic factors, the La Niña and the high ocean surface temperatures over the tropical North Atlantic. The Amazon River is for 30 meters of its normal level, and whole communities and cities are being affected. But the most surprising of this new wave of floods is that states which had semi-arid regions are completely flooded and isolated. Regions that normally suffered from drought now face a problem quite unusual. The federal government is sending help. However, due to the amount of rain, it will take 2 months for the rivers back to their normal levels, allowing then the reconstruction of the areas.
At least 10 people have been killed, including women and children, as a car bomb explosion took place in northwestern Pakistani city of Peshawar. CJ Khan says that people within the city are living their lives under duress due to Taliban's threat.
This is Karim Khan, citizen journalist from Instablogs from Pakistan. The people and environment of Peshawar are under a lot of duress these days. The latest bomb-killing events in the heart of the city have added to the fear and uncertainty of its citizens and visitors who come to Peshawar for shopping. The issue of threats directed at the medical community and women, dictating them against wearing their choice dresses, forebodes the onset of a Taliban-style dictatorship that has ruined the lives of people in many tribal areas and now is hovering over the city's once cheerful environment. There is an urgent need for local administrators now to gather and plan for homeland security against the threat of terrorism on civilians' lives.
Israeli President Shimon Peres has called for regional peace agreement with Arab neighbors while urging the Syrian President Bashar al-Assad to begin talks in Golan Heights. CJ Abu Zaraq has more on the story from Jordan.
This is Wad Abu Zaraq, reporting for the Instablogs from Jordan. Israeli President Shimon Peres urged Syrian government to start peace talks in order to help build bridges between the two countries, Syria and Israel, which have been considered enemies for a very long time now. Peres added that Israel has suggested peace talks many times and thinks it is now time for Syria to talk if they want peace. This comes almost a month after Syria announced readiness to resume peace talks with Israel concerning the Golan Heights, and Israel in turn refused all suggestions to withdraw from the heights, leaving the question standing as to whether Israel is looking for the kind of peace which abides only by the Israeli conditions.
Kenya has been hit by the news that US President Barack Obama will skip the country during his maiden visit to Africa as the US leader. His decision to make Ghana his first African destination is being seen as a reward for one of the continent's most stable and democratic countries. Joel Rangiwi thinks that the president's decision was motivated by Kenya's coalition government's working.
This is Rose Wangui, a citizen journalist from Kenya, reporting on Instagram. However, the Kenyan government has defended Obama's decision, saying he's the president of a sovereign country whose plan should not be blown out of proportion. This comes a few days after Obama's warning to President Mwai Kibaki and Prime Minister Raila Odinga that his government was not happy with the way Kenya's coalition government was operating, hinting at a serious step if the two principals failed to mend fences. The father of the first black president of the US is a Kenyan from Kogelo, and his grandmother Mama Sarah Obama attended Mr. Obama's inauguration in January this year. The government, in recognition, declared a one-day holiday to celebrate Obama's victory after he beat Republican Party's John McCain. Mr. Obama, who has proudly acknowledged his Kenyan roots, criticized the Kibaki administration over corruption when he visited Kenya in 2006 as the Senator of Illinois.
If you want your voice to be heard by millions, let Instablogs be your choice. You can contact us at cj@instablogs.com. That's all for today's show. We'll be back with fresh updates and more citizen voices. Till then, it's goodbye from the entire team of Global Report.